In this video, you'll find out why a tax-free savings account is the most powerful tool any investor can use today in Canada. By the end of this video, you'll know what it is, how to use it, and why learning about it is the first step in your personal finance journey. Let's do this! Before we begin, let's get two things out of the way. One, if you haven't subscribed yet, just do it. We would love to have you as part of the Mr. Financial family. We have some really exciting videos coming up in 2023 that you don't want to miss. And two, don't forget to click the link below to follow my Tfsa trades live on Blossom. Now that we have that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. As many of you probably know, our channel is all about dividend growth investing in a Tfsa. So what is a Tfsa? A tax-free savings account. It is a program the federal government started back in 2009. It is a way for new and old Canadians alike to set money aside tax-free throughout their lifetime. Yes, you heard that right. Tax-free throughout your entire life. And let's clear one thing up right away. The tax-free savings account is a misnomer. It is really a tax-free investing account. But God forbid we rename this to make any sense. A Tfsa is very different from other registered accounts, such as a registered retirement savings plan, an RRSP. Those other registered accounts shield us from tax for a certain period of time, but not forever. Here are some things to consider with this super account. Unlike RRSPs, contributions to a Tfsa are not deductible for income tax purposes. In other words, you put into your account your already taxed income. And it doesn't have to be your already taxed income. Your significant other, relative, or a friend can give you money to deposit into your account, which is really cool. Another thing that makes this account special is that any amount contributed, as well as any income earned in the account, is tax-free, even when it's withdrawn at any time. You heard that right. No waiting to a specific age to withdraw if you need to, and no deadlines to make a contribution either. Here's something else to consider. Administrative or other fees in relation to a Tfsa and any interest on money borrowed to contribute to a Tfsa are not tax deductible. So no, you can't borrow some money, say off your house in a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, put it into your Tfsa, and deduct the interest you pay on your HELOC from your taxable income when the tax ban comes. That would be double dipping, and Canada doesn't like those who double dip. And a really cool perk about a Tfsa for those working or at retirement age, Tfsas do not affect your eligibility for federal benefits or credits that are based on income level. And another super cool thing about Tfsas, the contribution limit doesn't change based on your earned income. It's the same no matter how much or how little you make. And one more super cool thing that separates this account from an RRSP account, the money you pull out of the Tfsa can be recontributed. I'll explain the whole contribution room a little later in the video. So what kind of investments can be put into a Tfsa account? Pretty much any vanilla investment, just like an RRSP. You can have it, as the misnomer put it, in a savings account, which I highly suggest not to do since you wouldn't be making the best use of this account. A better way to utilize this account is by investing in mutual funds, equities or stocks, bonds or GICs. It is extremely versatile. Now this next piece is really important for new Canadians. Who can open a Tfsa? The requirements are really simple. You need to be 18 years of age or older, so many international students fit this, have reached the age of majority in the province where you set up the account. For me here in BC, that's 19 years old. Check the province where you reside. Have a valid social insurance number and be a Canadian resident. Generally, that means you need to be in Canada more than out of Canada. It's always good to check with a professional if you're unsure. Okay, now for the cream filling. Why is it so important to understand the power of a Tfsa? And why is it the most powerful tool available to Canadian investors? Well, tax advantages are a huge part of your total return. I always consider my tax implications in my total return, as I think it's very misleading if I were not to do so. Let's look at a few dumbed down examples. Look at the income taxes we would be required to pay if we invested $6,000 a year for 30 years in GICs with an average return of say 4%. After 30 years, we would have earned about $170,000 in interest income. each year. That would have been added to our income as other income and taxed at our marginal rate. The highest of tax rates in Canada. Ichiwawa caramba. On an average BC income, that would account for about $40,000 in taxes to be paid versus zero in a TFSA. For a better example in a TFSA, look at a capital gains situation on selling some stocks. Let's say we invested $6,000 a year for 30 years in growth stocks, and we never sell, which is highly improbable. But let's just say we did for the sake of argument, and we got a great return of 9% a year. If we were to sell off the portfolio, we would have to pay capital gains tax on $710,000. Again, capital gains are taxed at a better rate than income, but we would still have to pay about $160,000 to $180,000 in taxes on an average across the provinces with an average income of $80,000, or $0 in a TFSA. Of course, taxes are a complicated topic and everyone's personal finances are different. How you sell off your assets in the future can have huge impacts on taxes for better or worse. The point is this: whether your investments return $100 or $100 million, in a TFSA, you pay zero in taxes. Absolutely nulla. Now that's special. Other accounts are sheltered from taxes for only a certain time period. A TFSA is forever. And they say only a diamond is forever. So why use any other account? Why doesn't everyone invest all of their money in TFSAs exclusively? Because the government has set limits on how much can be put into these accounts each year, just like with an RRSP. What are the contribution limits of TFSAs? The maximum amount that you can contribute to your TFSA is limited by your TFSA contribution room, which, as mentioned, is not based on your income. That room is based on when you turned 18 and were considered a resident of Canada. You will accumulate TFSA contribution room for each year, even if you did not file an income tax return or even have a TFSA account. From 2009 to 2012, the annual limit was $5,000. 2013 and 14 were $5,500. In 2015, it was $10,000. 2016 to 2018, the annual limit was back to $5,500. From 2019 to 2022, the limit was $6,000, and the new limit for 2023 is $6,500. The fastest way to know your contribution room is to sign into your MyCRA account. So how do the contribution limits work? Let's say you were born in 1991 and have been living in Canada your whole life. Your contribution limit is currently $81,500 and will become $88,000 on January 1st, 2023. Let's change it up. Let's say you were born in 1991, but did not move to Canada until mid-2015. What would be your limit? $50,500. You'll notice that there are no prorated figures for TFSA contribution limits. If you were a resident that year and are 18 years old, you get the limit. If you were not, you don't get the annual limit. It's pretty simple. Where it can get confusing for some is what happens when you have capital gains in your account and you make a withdrawal. So continuing with this example, say you maxed out your contributions in 2022 and used all $50,500 in contribution room. However, your investments are now worth $100,000. You decide to buy an apartment and withdraw $100,000 from your account. How much can you contribute in 2023? It's not $50,500 plus the $6,500 limit for 2023. It's $100,000 plus the $6,500 2023 limit. Any amount you withdraw from your account can be contributed back the following calendar year. If you over-contribute, you'll be taxed to the moon at 1% per month. Said another way, tax $10 for every $1,000 of over-contribution. This happens often because any contributions that are made or withdrawn from a TFSA in the prior year may not be reflected in your available current year contribution room until March 1st on your CRA account. So it's up to us to keep track of our deposits and withdrawals throughout the year. It can get a little confusing, especially if you have some room left over from previous years. Just always remember your contribution limit is the total of these three items: the TFSA dollar limit of the current year, i.e. $6,000 for 2022, any unused TFSA contribution room from previous years, any withdrawals made from a TFSA in the previous year, i.e. 2021 for this year, or 2022 if you're watching this in 2023, or you can just go to moneysense.ca for an easy-to-use TFSA contribution room calculator. Just one more crucial thing to remember. Once TFSA contribution room is lost, it is gone forever. So back to that example. Say you maxed out your contributions in 2022 and used all $50,500 in contribution room. However, your investments are now worth only $1,500 because you invested in Tattooed Chef. You decide to buy an apartment and withdraw $1,500 from your TFSA account. How much can you contribute in 2023? Well, it would be $1,500 plus $6,500 for a total of $8,000. You would have lost $49,000 of contribution room permanently. Now that's a situation you never want to be in, and that's why it is so important to know how to invest with a margin of safety in a TFSA. Stay tuned for another video on how to utilize your TFSA to enjoy tax-free blessings for as long as you shall live, or your successor shall live. So that's the basics of tax-free savings accounts. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and contributing to the awesome YouTube community we have. Until next time, I'm Mr. Financial.